friends, and welcome. This is Dr. Heather coming to you live from Ask Dr. Heather, also known as the Keto Doc. Sorry it's super late here, but I have been trying to go live. Had some internet issues earlier, so I deleted those, and that's okay. Sometimes that's giving me a little bit more motivation to actually get on here when Wi-Fi is saying, you know what? We're deleting you, you're not getting Wi-Fi, but that is actually what life is all about, right? Like restarts, regoing, restarting. So every time I try to start another Facebook Live, it's like, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to let Wi-Fi or the cloud stop me from it. And that's exactly what our life is all about. So whether you have been stuck, and we're going to talk about getting unstuck. Maybe you've been stuck, you've been trying to get a better sleep habit, you've been stuck with your sleep, or maybe your digestion's been stuck. You think you've done everything and you've been stuck. I can tell you one of the top 5 questions I get, whether it's at the office or through Facebook Messenger or with my friends, or I've hit a plateau, I've hit a plateau. And I hear that word all the time. A plateau with your weight, a plateau with your measurements, a plateau with your relationship, a plateau with your mindset, a plateau with your sleep, a plateau with your digestion. What does that mean, a plateau, or you've been stuck? And let's talk about that and pretend like it's driving. So if you're driving and you've been stuck, and this has happened to me, especially before we had our phones that we have, and I was using MapQuest, and it kept taking me around in a loop and around in a loop and around a loop. I feel sometimes that's what our diets have been. People kind of take us in a loop and another loop. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, and you land at the same starting point. Maybe you go up a couple pounds and down a couple pounds, but you end up at the same spot. That can be super frustrating. So what do? You need to get off the ramp and do something differently than you've been doing. So I'm super excited to talk about tonight's topic. It's really about getting unstuck. If you've ever been stuck, put your hand up there. Stuck, whether it's been your sleep pattern you've been stuck with, or you just can't figure out what the heck is going on with your digestion, or maybe it's a rash on your skin and you just can't seem to find the solution, or maybe you've been trying to do keto and you hear all these other people, hundreds of thousands of people in these other group. And I do get this question a lot. How come everybody else seems to get in ketosis, stay in ketosis? They don't have to count every macro. They can kind of have this and they can kind of have that, and they seem to stay in ketosis. My question is, are they really checking if they're in ketosis? Thank you for that thumbs up. Hey, Jill, nice to see you here. So I hear this a lot, and I always want to ask, like, are those people really checking to see if they're in ketosis? Because a lot of people are doing the keto diet, and a lot of people are not checking. You really do need to check if you're on a keto diet, because oftentimes they're not eating enough protein, and that's where you find yourself having some hair loss. Maybe the scale's moving and your clothes are starting to fall off you, but you want to make sure metabolically you're being safe. But today's about getting back on track. So it's very easy to get off track, right? We've all done that. Like, you've driven somewhere and it's easy to get off track, or you've been on a new diet or a new lifestyle plan. For me, I was like all back into hot yoga. Started last November. I was super proud of myself. Then the COVID thing happened. I don't know what to call it. And then the hot yoga place had to close, which I love, love, love. And now it's been really hard for me to get back in that rhythm. I'm a person who needs to go to the gym, get the doors closed, be trapped in there. I love the energy of working out in a huge big room with music super high, or if that's like a kickboxing class or a circuit class or CrossFit class, or if it's a yoga class. I love the bamboo floors. I love the smell of the essential oils going on. I love the whole chemistry and vibe I get from everybody else. I don't really do a very good job working out from home. I can do it, but it's just me. So it's been really difficult for me to get back in that groove of working out at home. Sidebar here, see, I'm off track already. That's why I challenged everybody, because my friend owns a yoga studio and she goes, let's do a 14-day mats down challenge. So I did post that yesterday. Today is day 2. It's a mats down challenge, which means put your yoga mat down, put a towel down, put something down, and just get on the floor and do some yoga moves. So I've been posting that down below. It's a free 14-day mats down challenge. So just join with me and share it out, see what happens, do it for 14 days. I think you can do anything for 14 days. But anyway, if you've been stuck, put down, I've been stuck. I love that Judy's raising her hand. She has been stuck. And it's really hard, that Groundhog's Day thing, to get unstuck. And then it gets really frustrating. It's like quicksand, like you just kind of give up. Like, why should I try again? I'm just going to get stuck again. This time I'm telling you, you're not going to get stuck. And I am super excited. I've been practicing for well over 20 years. And I have been teaching people about a ketogenic lifestyle and about a low carb lifestyle, about ditching sugar for years and years, doing cupboard clean outs, pantry clean outs, grocery store tours. I've been doing all those things before we even had all this internet stuff. So now it makes it much, much easier. But before we get down to what the solution is, because I have a solution and I think that's what everybody wants. Okay, let's be real. we have a problem. No one is 100% perfect. I'll be the first one to say that, yes, I have some kids in the house, my mom and husband, I am not perfect, and that's okay to say. And I've had a problem. I can't be 100% perfect every day. I want to be keto perfect every day. I want to have a perfect mindset every day. I want to sleep perfectly every night, but it just doesn't happen. And so in order to not get discouraged, you have to have a plan to get back on track. You have to have a tribe of people to help support you, but better yet, you have to have a plan. Before a plan, you have to have self-awareness. You have to say, you know what? I'm not on track, and I've been off track for one day. I've been off track since the graduation party. I've been off track since COVID happened. I've been off track since Christmas happened, or I've been off track since spring break happened. So number one, have that awareness. So before we talk about the amazing solution, let's be honest with ourselves, and we're going to actually be honest in a real way. So number one, hey Amy, number one, we're trying to do this again, Amy, with good Wi-Fi. So no one's a zero. A zero means you don't care about your health, but one just means I'm kind of wandering around. I don't even know how to find Dr. Heather's house. I don't even know how to do a Facebook Live. I don't even know how to do a yoga move or what a yoga mat is. I don't even know what keto is. Like, you're kind of lost and all over the place. That's okay. Give yourself a number one. That's your self-awareness. Your self-awareness is being honest with yourself and saying, I'm ready to get started on a journey, but I'm a number one over here just getting started. But you know what? And number five is I'm totally crushing this keto movement. I'm totally crushing my workouts. I am all over this place, and I'm ready to step up and be a huge influencer in this because I am ready to go. So find out where you are, put your number down, be super honest and aware, because if you don't share it, then it's not really going to be pertinent to yourself, and you can give yourself a half a point. Somebody else asked me earlier, and so think about that. If you're a 2, it's kind of easy to go from a 2 to a 2.5 or 3, right? It's kind of hard to go from 1 to 5, but I've got something for you that I've done myself that really helps fast forward that information, that really helps fast forward getting you from a 1 to a 5. So what is that called? It's called a reboot. It used to be called a fast. And every time I say that, the numbers of people would scatter like crickets. Like, oh, no, I'm not going to do a fast. Thanks, Jill. Jill is a 4. Judy is a 3. Amy, what are you? So I used to say the word fast. Everybody would like scatter like, oh, I can't not eat. I'm going to tell you, our bodies were designed not to eat. Think of the caveman days. I do say this a lot. Babies are in utero 40 weeks, normally average. That's the gestation period is 40 weeks. Way back in the biblical times, caveman times, Kublai Khan times, whichever times, the Viking times, we still had a 40-week gestations. Babies were still breastfed. All that stuff is still normal. That's still a normal part of human physiology and biochemistry, right? Babies still come into this world in ketosis. Those things are all still normal. We still have the normal 12 organ parts. We were always meant, 1.75, Amy says, she's going for a 2. I think she's higher than that. We know that our bodies are meant to go through a feast and famine stage. We're not supposed to have Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner every single day. We're also not supposed to fast every day, but fasting has been a big part of so many political movements, so many religious movements, so many leading educators. Benjamin Franklin talked a lot about fasting back in the day, and he's one of the smartest people that we talk about. Also, Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine, let medicine be thy food, but don't feed thy body when you're sick. We also talk about Ramadan, and I'm not really good with some of these other religions, but all through Christianity, all through Hinduism, all through Buddhism, all these other religions, they have been fasting. Why? Because it's a way to actually cleanse your body. I like to call it kind of like a spring break or spring cleaning type of thing for your body. Why do we do this? To let your body rest, to give it a nice big cleansing type of period. It's to get unstuck. If your body's in quicksand, and we talked about that road earlier, like if you keep getting on and off that on-ramp, when I had a TomTom, which is how you used to get directions to go to places, this happened to me when I was trying to find a hockey rink. I kept following the TomTom's directions. I must have done this 15 or 20 times. The kids are yelling in the back, Mom, we're going to be late for the hockey game. I kept following the TomTom's directions. At some point, I had to say, wait, I got to get out my Rand McNally. If you remember the Rand McNally, say Rand McNally and say, okay, let's go back old school. How do we do this? And that's what we're doing. We're going back to the basics of human physiology. At some point, when you are metabolically stuck, you can't sleep, you can't go to the bathroom, you can't stop going to the bathroom, your skin is dumping out toxins, or you smell. You should not be smelling. If you're smelling, something's not getting digested properly. Going back to the basics means stop eating 17 times a day. Stop eating every single day. Some days don't eat 3 squares a day. Yes, I am promoting that we're going through a small fasting period. Fasting can be defined as less than 300 calories a day, still drinking water. A dry fast is no water. A water-only fast is just that water-only fast. And then having under 300 calories, less than 20 grams of protein, but still metabolically getting your minerals in. And that's what I'm proposing to you. So think of you being stuck. I'm on that loop, never finding that hockey rink. I'm always running around. At some point, I get off, I stop, I rest, calm myself down, and then look for directions. And then I have a plan what to do. Or if I'm actually getting stuck, say I'm stuck in quicksand, I keep pulling against quicksand, I just get stuck further and further and further. If I stop and let it rest, then everything relaxes, then I can get unstuck. The same is true for you, no matter what journey you're on. If it's for cognitive health, if you just keep playing all the video games and keep eating all the sugar and eating all the processed stuff, that's not going to get you unstuck, whether it's for cognition, for better sleep, for better memory. All that stuff has to do with how frequent you're eating and how much you're eating. So this 60-hour reboot program mimics a fast, but it's not a true fast because you're still getting calories and proteins and sodium, magnesium, and B vitamins and taurine and other things like that your body absolutely needs, and energy during a 60-hour period. But while your body's not digesting whole food at a time, it's going to be able to go work on the other areas of your body. Your immune system is going to repair your DNA. It's going to do that spring cleaning in other areas of your body because it's not digesting food. It's not going, this is where this exponential nutrition comes in. Exponentially, when you let things rest in your digestion for 60 hours, when you refeed, it's going to be able to absorb those nutrients much better because you're getting a layer of scum and all those pesticides and all those toxins off of there. So that is my solution to help you get unstuck. I have lots of other things: drink more water, relax, de-stress. I have a whole other YouTube video on getting unstuck. But the best thing that I have been able to share with you and that I've experienced myself over the last 29 months consistently, which actually lines up with human behavior, human physiology to get unstuck and actually stops the whole keto confusion, is actually doing the Reboot program. So I love it. If you want info, put info down below. If you've already done it, put down how many you've done, put down 6, put down 10, or put down what month you've done it. But let's talk about where you're going to be afterwards. Let's talk about what that looks like if your blood sugar's been stuck, if your ketones have been stuck, your cholesterol's been stuck, your number of sleep every hour have been, you've only getting 5 hours of sleep has been unstuck. This will help you get unstuck. So I hope that this helps you just think about what you're doing with your own body when you think, I've been stuck. Well, again, that's a huge big word when you start talking about that. And this will help you get 100% back on track. We help you through accountability. We help you get through each day and explain why this is happening to your body and when it's happening to your body. This is awesome. Judy's done a couple. Jill's done 2. She committed to 3, which is awesome. Amy is also committed to doing this. And so just remember, our bodies were designed to go through feast and famine periods. And when you're doing that, the fasting period is when your body resets and rejuvenates. Again, think of it like spring cleaning. If you've ever spring cleaned your house, you might skip a meal or 2 because you're busy doing other things. That's exactly what's happening. When your nerves are not digesting all your food, it takes a lot of energy to digest food, to sift and sort what's a real food, what's a toxin, what's a pesticide. It takes a lot of energy to do that. When your body's not having to do that, it's getting pure energy that's identical to your body. It's getting nutrition that it needs at the cellular level. Then it can go out and it can prune that DNA. It can work on your immune system. It can go clean up your brain lymphatic system. It can reset your sugar metabolism, reset those taste buds, increase your body's human growth hormone, so that promotes that longevity and slow down that aging clock, so to speak, which I think is super important and very, very cool no matter what age you're at, no matter what you're going for. I think everybody can agree that's what really I think is important, is slowing down the aging clock. So whether it's your joint health, your brain health, your flexibility, it also helps reset that. And we've seen this time and time again. Over hundreds of thousands of people have done this program now with us. So if you want info, put info down below. Justin, I know you've done this program, but I think what it also does is it establishes amazing relationships. And we have tools set in place for you. We have so many amazing community tools, from coaches that can help you through that, from guides that can help you through that, not only as you do our program with us, but also as you walk out of the reboot into the next phase, because we do this every single month because we are real, right? We talk about being our own advocate. We talk about just being authentically ourselves and talking about awareness that life does happen, that you know what, you may have something and you have a glass of champagne, which alcohol is toxic to our brain. Even if it's low carb and keto, it still shuts off our antidiuretic hormone, which can affect our bowels, or, we're exposed to toxins every day. It's a great solution to spring clean everything all the time. Kind of like you brush your teeth, right? Twice a day, and you go to the dentist every few months. It's the same thing. We want to spring clean our bodies every single month the best that we can. Our 60-hour reboot does that. So I really wanted to talk about that. The second thing we're going to talk about, because we're going to be a little bit longer, so just write down info if you want info down there, because we want to know. I know a lot of people on here have done that. Is minerals. We were talking about minerals and when to take minerals. So yes, I have my celery on my shoulder today, and that's also what the reboot does. And I brought my pink Himalayan sea salt. So sea salt can come in pink, it can come in black, it could be volcanic salt depending on where it comes from, what ocean it comes from, what part of the world it comes from. But people talk about sodium. I had a lot of conversations in the office today and with my mom today, because she has had some medication changes, which is good, taking some things away because her blood pressure was too low. Again, her pulse was too low, which means she's over medicated. When your pulse is too low, like in the 50s, if you're 80 years old, or your blood pressure is too low, when you're over the age of 80 or over the age of 70, then it means you're over medicated and your things are too low. But also want to say this, as you start to lose, people ask me, when do you start using supplements? When do you not use supplements? Well, for people, when they come to me asking, I need to lose 50 pounds, I need to lose 25 pounds of fat. Remember, fat cells, you don't ever lose your fat cells, you lose the content inside the fat cells. A fat cell is called an adipose cell. So as you lose the content inside that fat cell, there was a fat cell, you lose the content. Not only do you just lose the toxins, and there's about 170 different hormones inside the fat cells. When you lose the toxins, and this happens during the reboot, those stuff that comes outside the fat cell collapses. You don't lose a fat cell, it just collapses. You also lose sodium, potassium, B6, B12, B3, calcium, vitamin D. You lose potassium. There's a lot of minerals that come out when you collapse that fat cell and you lose that fat. Don't lose a cell, you just lose the contents of that fat cell. That's why the reboot's so important, and we've metabolically put those minerals inside the packets. That's why you're staying under 300 calories a day and you're having those protein, because B6 and B12 are essential for every single cell inside our body. It's important for the communication from cell to cell. I talk about our brain every time. For the communication between our cell to cell wall, it's important for maintaining our blood sugar balance. But even if when you come out of the reboot and you're just doing a normal low carb or keto diet, and you're ditching the sugar for the lifetime, you're eating a healthy lifestyle, and you're losing every 20 or 25 pounds, I do check my patients' comprehensive metabolic panel, which is sodium, potassium, magnesium, those things. Also check my CBC, which is going to be your hemoglobin, hematocrit, iron, because those B vitamins will be washed away. They're water soluble. They just come out when the fat cells collapse, the toxins come out of the fat cells. Those things happen. And yes, Justin, it happens. Those toxins are fixed to hormones. There's 170 hormones in each fat cell approximately. So when the contents get lost and the fat cell smashes, the scale goes the other way. You lose all that stuff. So when you do something like the amazing reboot, what's so good for your body, you're like, man, I don't feel good. Everybody else is feeling so great. How come everybody else in ketosis feels so great? Or they're staying in ketosis and I can't seem to stay in ketosis. Now I'm super stressed out because I'm doing exactly what the calculator says for me to do. I don't feel good. It's because your body's struggling because it doesn't have enough minerals that it needs. Minerals are electrolytes that drive the body. That's why Prove It put the Mitoplex in there, put the electrolytes in there. Or as if your physician might say, you need to have more sea salt. You need to have more celery or celery juice because celery has natural sodium in it. You need to have maybe some more tomatoes. Tomatoes are a fruit, but they have natural sodium in it. So you need to do some extra things like that because you do lose those essential nutrients. When we say the word essential, it means essential for survival. You must have it. When your sodium gets too low, you have to go to the ER. Your potassium gets too low, you have to go to the ER. With that being said, the other common question is that potassium, you only take it if your doctor says you need it. You do not need to take, if you don't need potassium, don't take it. If it's too high, it gets toxic in your body and can cause heart issues, heart arrhythmias, different heart cardiac issues. So you never take potassium unless it's warranted to need it. Magnesium, on the other hand, magnesium optimally should be 2.2 to 2.6. I find it low on a lot of people. It can cause cramping, it can cause high migraines. It can cause lack of focus. It can cause constipation. It can cause a lot of things. Magnesium comes from nuts. It comes from fish. It's a hard mineral to digest. So if you're lacking stomach acid, a lot of people aren't eating enough of the nuts and the green leafy stuff like kale and broccoli and all the green leafy vegetables, chard and collard greens, things like that. You're going to get magnesium in. People aren't eating enough of those, and if you don't have enough stomach acid, you're not breaking it down. That's why we're finding that we need to supplement with that. Again, you want your optimal levels to be 2.2 to 2.6, but supplementing with magnesium, if you get too much, you end up just having mushy stools in the bathroom. So that can happen as well, because that's why when you're doing the reboot or as you start to lose weight, your bowels will change, because all that stuff inside that adipose cell, when it's coming out of the adipose cell and you're smashing down that fat cell, all that toxin is going to be coming out. Well, how do we get it out? It's either going to come out through your skin. You may get a rash. People call it the keto rash. It's just toxins coming out of your body. Or it's going to come out through the toilet. And it can be cyclic. As the scale changes, your bowels will change as well. And it will depend on what you've been exposed to, whether it's environmental in a nail salon or petroleum or whatever food you've eaten, or maybe you've had surgery and had anesthesia lately. Whatever you've been exposed to is going to come out of your body at some time. The fastest way to do it is to do it metabolically sound with the reboot system that has those nutrients in there to replace what is lost through that normal diuretic process. So if you want info about that, please drop it down below. Yes, Justin. Justin's saying Epsom salt baths can absolutely help as well. I do have on AskDrHeather.net, I have about 15 different Epsom salt spa baths that have different reasons that you can use them. So you might pop over there. I've got, I think, 15 or 16 different type of spa baths that you can do at home for different reasons, for whether it's headache or cramps or PMS times or for detoxing. So you can use those detox baths along with this program as well. But I do just want to just hopefully, again, put info. If you want info down, Judy, we will get you info. Also, don't forget, this is day 2 of our Mat Down Challenge, our 14-day Mats Down Challenge. Scroll down below. It's through Homegrown Yoga Collectives. They're offering a free 14-day. I know people do push-up challenge, squat challenge. If you've never tried yoga, this is the time to do it. It's 14 days. It's free. If you missed day 1, that's okay. Today is day 2. It is simply putting your yoga mat on the floor and maybe just sitting on it. Maybe you're stretching on it. Maybe you fall asleep on it, whatever it is, but just start doing something. And if you do it, post a picture and tag me, tag Homegrown Collectives. I have a picture down of Laura, who's the yogi, was the owner of the studio. She talks a little bit more about why they're doing it, because people are not de-stressing enough. It's a great way to just start a practice with you. So I am super excited to be here with you. We asked you earlier what your awareness with your own health is. So again, awareness is 5, you're crushing your health, you're crushing sleep, you're crushing your mindset, you're crushing your diet, you're crushing everything about your life, and it couldn't be better. Like, you should be here talking and teaching. Number 1 says, I showed up, but I need a lot of help. And so some people, like, we talk about this, it's easy to go from a 1 to a 1.5, a 1.5 to a 2. It's hard to go from a 1 to a 5, but we're here to help you. So if you've been following us along the way, along our keto journey, and you've been following us on up to tip 6, tip 7 is going to be fasting. This is your next tip, is you're going to be fasting with us here around the 16th of August. So we're going to get you there. Tip 7 will come tomorrow, as we're going to add more fats, and we're going to start actually calculating a little bit more on our carbohydrates. So again, this is Dr. Heather Carden. Sharon, I will send you info. Absolutely. So write info down if you want info. Again, my name is Dr. Heather Carden. I'm coming to you live from Overland Park, Kansas. It is sundown here. So excited to have you guys joining me here. As always, I'm trying to help as many people as I can on this earth before I leave it, lead a healthy journey and find their journey or tools to help them live their best life ever. And remember, don't confuse better for perfect. Every day, just focus on being 1% better than you were yesterday. So whether it is you actually have a better mindset today, you sleep a little bit better today, you did a little bit better job drinking water today, but I have a lot of people out there who are actually switching lifestyles, and we've been doing it very slowly by doing an 8-hour intermittent fasting day. Every day we're eating an 8-hour time frame. We have ditched all the processed foods. We are drinking half our body's weight in water. We are doing a 2-2-2-1, right? The 1 is we're getting at least 1 teaspoon of salt in our diet. I said that word sodium. This is pink Himalayan sea salt. We use this in our family, and we just grind it because it's so pretty and cute, but you can buy it in a shaker bottle. You can buy it white and black in different colors. But we're teaching you how to live a healthy lifestyle. We're teaching you how to integrate food into your life without counting every single macro. We're trying to help you understand when your body is hungry and says, I need food, instead of like, ooh, that looks good, I think I'll eat it. So we're trying to help you understand when your body needs food, trying to reset that leptin, ghrelin challenges going on, that tug of war we talked about earlier at tip number 3. So again, super excited to send you info. Bonnie, I think it says Bonnie Mary, I will definitely send you info. And I want to thank everybody for joining me here, because this is always meant to be educational. Ask Dr. Heather at the Keto Doc is meant to help share information with you. You can always find me on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, which I'm just starting, which is Ask Dr. Heather. YouTube is Ask Dr. Heather. My blog is AskDrHeather.net. There's about 1,000 recipes there. They're under Healthy Bites, and you can find keto, low carb, 100% gluten-free, 99% dairy-free, 100% soy-free, 100% peanut-free, I think 99% mushroom-free. So hopefully there's some recipes for you that you can find there. And if I do not get you answered tonight, please shoot me a private message and I will get the information for you tomorrow. So you guys have a blessed day. Tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more about minerals and a little bit more about healthy fats. I'm going to close with the last couple things. Everyone is talking about fasting. Everybody's talking about fasting. Dr. Jason Fung, Breaking the Obesity Code, The Guide to Fasting. I follow a lot of his information, a lot of great information for Dr. Daniel Pompa. Love his work, Dr. Pompa's work, Dr. Adam Nally's Keto Cure, a big chapter on fasting there. Why are we saying don't eat for a period of time? Because we are overeating. We are making ourselves sick. And what we have found is that the average person is eating 17 times a day. In 1970s, we were eating in a 14-hour window. We were eating 3 squares a day. We were not snacking. We were having some celebrations. The average person had 14 celebrations a year. We had a birthday in the family, and we had the religious holidays, and then we had things like Thanksgiving. So we had the Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, and then you had, the average family was 4 people. You had 4 birthdays and an anniversary. Now what's happened is we eat 17 times a day. That's true story. So we need to go back to the basics, which is eating when hungry, stopping when full, and enjoying life a little bit more. So you guys have a blessed day. Turn up the positivity, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow.